In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your cable inside your door panel that goes from your door handle to the latch on your Ford E-350 Super Duty. It's located on the driver door. All right, I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver and take out this screw on the top. Once you get that out, you can take off this plastic cover. All right, we're going to use a Phillips head screwdriver or drill, and you're going to undo your screws here. So you got a screw under here. There's a screw behind this panel, and then there's a screw at the bottom of the door. So let's start with this one. Take off your flap, use the Phillips head, and we're going to take out the screw. Next, we're going to take this little panel piece out. I'm going to use a small screwdriver or a trim tool and pull that right out. So don't break these off. You got to pull it out this way and then pull it out. Now we're going to get this screw under here, also with a Phillips. All right, so just to make a mental note, when you're putting things back together, this short screw goes here. The other ones are all the same length. All right, on the lower part of the door, to the left, this screw hides. They usually have like a little cover over it, but this one doesn't have it. If you have yours, just flip it off with a flathead. Okay, so that should be all your screws. The only thing left we have to take off is our crank for our roll window. Here we are at a window crank. We're going to separate this handle. It comes apart. So we're going to use a trim tool, and we're going to separate out this top piece of the window crank handle, like that. So I've just twisted my trim tool to pop it off, and then you're going to roll that down. And then inside here is a Torx bit screw, and you're going to use a T20 to loosen that. So you're going to use a T20 screwdriver to take this out. So you can see that I marked it here. I'm going to make it a little brighter to show where it lives when you take it out. Okay, once you take that out, you can just place it down off to the side. Okay, so now we're going to take off the door panel. To do that, we're going to pick up the door panel and then take it out. So you're going to lift it up, and then you're going to take it out. You can just rest that on the bottom. Okay, using a Phillips head screwdriver, we are going to undo this screw so that we can take this off to remove our cable on this end. Once you take that off, you should be able to slide it this way, and then you can see inside. What you're going to do is take out the cable on this end, flip it up and out. All right, so we're going to take this out. Okay, once you get that out, you're going to turn it up, then pull it out. Okay, so now you're going to use some wire cutters and just cut the zip tie off if you have one. We're going to replace that later. And now we're going to go up top. You're going to want to take this cable out of the door panel. And to do that, you're going to need a pair of pliers, and you're going to push out this plastic, the ears on the plastic thing, these ears right here, stick through the door to stabilize it. After you're done doing that, you can just leave that there and go up top to where the other end of the cable is. All right, so here we are. We're going to get the other end of the cable out. So you want to pick up this black flap and get the cable out of that first. Once that's up and out of the way, you're going to be able to feel. You might have to go by feel, sorry guys, but you got to pull that cable out of where it's living. All right, so I'm using needle nose for mine. Try a pry bar first. I feel like that would be probably easier. Sometimes these guys get real comfortable where they live. All right. Once you pop that out, we're going to make a mental note that this cable is on this side of the door lock rod. So when we replace it, we do the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this cable on the other side of this rod that locks the door, because I'm not really getting enough clearance to get that out. Once you get it on the other side, you should be able to pull it out like that. All right, so make sure you transfer over your clip onto the cable so it can be secured onto the door. This side goes where the latch is, and this side goes where the door handle is, the interior door handle. So let's put it in there. All right, so I'm going to thread this cable up. I'm making sure the cable has enough line there. And I'm going to move that down, that lever, and feed it through. Once you get it through, you can then line it up on this side. At this point, you can pull the cable from the other side so it shortens up the plastic part. And we're going to fit it into its house. Again, you're going to probably need a pry bar or a pair of pliers to squeeze that in. I'm going to go for pliers. Once you get around there, you can just squeeze. All right, so once you pop that in, so now we're going to put our cable up and over here, up and over this rod. I'm going to feed it through this way first, and then I'm going to feed it down. All right, so now that's fed where it belongs, in front of the lock rod. You are going to put this plastic cap back on, and it just fits right on top of that cable. All right, so now we're going to feed our cable through our handle. You're going to push it through, and then you're going to lock it in. Like that. Then we're going to put the door handle in and slide it forward until you see your screw hole line up. All right, so now we're going to put our screw in to hold our handle in. Snug that up, and then you're going to put your door panel clip back where it was, right about there. You just push it in, and now we're going to zip tie this back together. All right, so I'm going to just put a zip tie right here. And cut the rest off. Doesn't have to be super snug, it's just keeping it in place. All right, now that you have that cable hooked up, just make sure that your door opens and shuts from the inside with your inside door handle. Once you know that that works, you can put your door panel back on. All right, so make sure your door lock is lined up. And it should find its way into the little hooks. There we go. And let it just sit down. Good. All right, using a Phillips head screwdriver, we're gonna put our screws in. One on the top here. All right, and now we could put our screw in this metal bracket. Snug that up. All right, so you're gonna feed your handle through there. Line it up with the two holes, push it in, and give it a good whack. Put the screw in. Again, this is the shortest screw out of all of them, so that's how you know which one goes here. Now you can put your cover on for your screw. Make sure you put your two tabs going into those little holes on the side, and then push it in. All right, so here's the one on the bottom corner. Now you can put your plastic cap back on if you have one. All right, so our crayon marking there is going to tell us where to put this. And line it up as good as possible. And we're going to use our Torx bit T20 and tighten it up. After you tighten that up, you can slide your handle back together. Snap it on. Make sure your window goes up and down. Beautiful. So now we're going to put our trim piece back on and slide it in, line up our screw, and tighten it down. Good. Now you're going to make sure everything works and you're good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.